Mo Parr makes his living as a seed cleaner. Using a portable machine that he brings to his customers' farms, he cleans old seeds from the debris and gives them new seeds to plant for the new season. He's a prominent member in his agricultural community, and he's served his customers for decades and has watched his customers and their children grow up. In February 2007, Mr. Parr received notice from the agricultural company Monsanto that he was being sued. According to a CBS News article surrounding the case, Mr. Parr was suspected of aiding and abetting farmers by cleaning seed and therefore encouraging them to violate Monsanto's patents by giving them an option to replant seeds. Monsanto subpoenaed Mr. Parr's bank records from the past 10 years without his knowledge and contacted his customers and warned them against associating with Mr. Parr as a patent violator. Mr. Parr wanted to fight against Monsanto, arguing that no one could tell the difference between two different soybeans by the naked eye. However, heavy legal costs forced him to settle out of court, and to this day he cannot discuss the details of his settlement. The agricultural company Monsanto has made a name for itself for bullying and degrading farmers on an everyday basis. They were founded in 1901 as a chemical company and were well known for their role in the Vietnam War, creating chemicals like Agent Orange and DDT. It wasn't until 1976 that they entered the agricultural field with their herbicide Roundup. According to the LA Times, shortly after this, in the 1980s, there was a Supreme Court case concerning the patenting of a bacteria that could break down crude oil, and for the first time in the United States, companies were permitted to patent life. Shortly after, in 1996, Monsanto patented its Roundup Ready soybean and ended the then cheap and publicly accessible public seed system. According to the documentary Food Inc., in the past 18 years since Monsanto's soybean was first patented, Monsanto has come to control 90% of the soybeans produced in the United States each year. Tonight I will discuss the dangers of Monsanto's monopolization in the agricultural industry, how we can help stop this company, and the costs and benefits of this plan. Monsanto refuses to allow farmers to replant seeds, despite the fact that farmers have cleaned, saved, and replanted seeds since the very beginning of farming. According to Monsanto, whenever farmers plant Monsanto seeds, they agree to terms and conditions that state that if they are found to be cleaning or planting second-generation Monsanto seeds, that they will be liable for litigation. These patents are enforced by investigators that Monsanto employs, and according to investigative reporter Chris Parker, these men and women are meant to harass and scare farmers and often trespass on their farms in order to find out whether or not a farmer is guilty. According to a Vanity Fair article surrounding the case, these men and women are often known as the seed police or the Gestapo in agricultural communities because they will follow customers and trespass on their farms, photograph them, take video of them without their knowledge. There was a case of Mr. Gary Reinhardt, and Mr. Reinhardt was a prominent member of his agricultural community. He owned a business that sold seed to farmers, and one of these investigators approached him in his store when there was customers in the store and accused him of replanting seeds despite the fact that he was not a Monsanto farmer. The investigator told him, "Monsanto is big, you can't win, you will pay, we will get you." Mr. Reinhardt was a prominent member in the community, and these investors go after prominent members in order to make examples of them, whether they're guilty or not. Monsanto's monopolization of the soybean industry has meant major cost increases in soybean products throughout the United States. According to the Iowa State University Soybean Research Program, soybeans are used in products like chips, cookies, margarine, paint, plastic, and makeup, products that we use each and every day. However, because Monsanto has such a large control over the soybean industry, they are able to control the cost. According to the USDA, when Monsanto first patented their soybean, the cost of soybeans has raised 325%. However, we can all work to stop this company from continuing to marginalize the agricultural industry. The health of a democracy is directly parallel to the involvement of an everyday citizen, and we can all help to stop Monsanto in one of two ways. The first is by contacting our House representatives, of which there are 11 in Maryland. These men and women are paid to be our voice in the federal government, and it's up to them to create legislation that can help stop this company. We need to contact them and tell them that we need stricter laws regarding patent exhaustion and the extent to which a farmer can be liable for accidental contamination. We need to demand that Monsanto be treated like the monopoly that it is and stop former Monsanto executives from sitting in compromising positions in the FDA, the CDC, and the Supreme Court. If one person in this room wrote a letter, it would make some small difference. And if everyone in this room wrote a letter, it would make an even bigger difference. It's counterintuitive to believe that our government won't do anything if we, as the backbone of our democracy, are not willing to say that we think that this is a problem. The second thing that each of us can do is vote. According to the Maryland State Board of Elections, the primaries will take place on June 3rd, 2014. It's at this point that each of us are given a chance to decide who is eligible to run for positions like governor, the House, senators, and the Attorney General, and many other positions in the state of Maryland. Every election, we are given a chance to decide who is able to run for our political parties, and we are able to elect politicians that we believe will be most representative of our beliefs. We need to elect politicians that are willing to intervene on our behalf in terms of Monsanto and stop it from being the monopoly that it is. The cure can really only happen with us. If we were able to see legislation passed to limit Monsanto's patents to first sale only, then the cost of soybeans in the United States would decrease. Also, if farmers were allowed to replant seeds again, then it would be less waste of natural resources because farmers wouldn't have to throw away good seed after the end of every season. They could replant them as biologically intended. Without the threat of litigation hanging over the farming industry, we can return the pride to farming and we can attract new workers to the farming industry. Farmers are essential to our survival in the United States, and we need to make it an industry that people want to go and join. The cost of this plan is already built into our democracy because our politicians are already paid to be representative of what we need as citizens. When we devote our time into the system to tell our politicians that we think that this is a problem, then we are recouping the costs that we are paying through our tax money. Already, we are the ones paying for Monsanto's monopoly because they're scaring away farmers, and that means less food, higher demand for food, and a higher cost for us as consumers. The cost of this plan is really our time, the time that it takes for us to write a letter or to speak out against this company. If we are not willing to speak out, then we are unintentionally agreeing to condone Monsanto's behavior. Monsanto has had too much power in this country for too long. By enforcing unfair patent restrictions, bullying farmers, and increasing the cost of soybeans, their existence in this country has become a silent epidemic. We as citizens need to act if we want to see this company stop, and that can come in the form of writing letters to our representatives and voting for politicians that are willing to intervene on our behalf. Without Monsanto, we can return farming to the proud industry that it once was, and we can see lower costs in soybean products in the United States. The cost of Monsanto is not only economic, but human, because farmers are being degraded and treated like villains and liars, and they're being demoralized on an everyday basis. In the end, our inaction speaks volumes, and by continuing to stay silent, then we are continuing to condone the injustice of Monsanto and in our agricultural industry.